Hey, I'm sitting here in the sukkah, starting to get ready for our scotch and cigars and brisket event. It's going to be a fun evening. We have our heaters as the weather is changing. But last night when I turned on the phone after the holidays, I heard the remarkable news that 20 live hostages are coming home. And the joy on this holiday of Sukkot to hear that news. You see, because Sukkot is all about unity, about bringing the Jewish people together. I told you before the holiday that Sukkot is about God embracing us and giving us a hug. But the rabbis tell us something interesting, that all the Jewish people could be in one sukkah. That's how big the sukkah could be. Why? Because since the holiday is all about unity, it's the only mitzvah that encompasses and embraces every single Jew. You could have a lulav and esrog. You have to pass it from one Jew to the next Jew. You could have challah or kiddush. You can't all have it at the same time. But the only mitzvah that all the Jewish people could have together is the mitzvah of sukkah. And on this day of Sukkot, to be able to have that unity, to know that in time for Simchas Torah, which will be the second anniversary on the Hebrew calendar of October 7th, that the hostages who are still alive will be able to be home in the embrace of their families is the greatest joy. You see, I told them on the first day of the holiday in Shul that when we were going to Rabbinical College, there was this new term called a safe space. It was a place where you spoke and had to be sensitive not to trigger anyone and to be worried about their emotions. But what ended up happening is we didn't create more emotionally healthy people, but the opposite. But the sukkah is really the opposite of that. It's a brave space. It's a place where we know we're in the open, we're vulnerable to the weather, to the climate, to the conditions that are beyond our control. We're exposed, but yet at the same time, we are told to celebrate our joy. How could those two come together? And the answer is because the holiday is called Zman Simchasenu, the time of our joy. It's interesting because the word simcha, joy, in the Jewish religion and in the Bible and the Torah is always associated with other people. Whenever the Torah says simcha, it says you should have simcha with others, not yourself. And the rabbis explain, Rabbi Jonathan Sachs elaborates on this a lot, that because true simcha, true joy can only come when you share it with others. And that's why, even though we're vulnerable in a sukkah and it's exposed, and there's the elements and the climate, and the rain, and the heat, and the sun, and the sand, and the cold, we are able to have simcha, even in our vulnerability, even when we're exposed, because we are celebrating together with others, and we're embraced in the same sukkah. And to think that our hostages are going to come home in time for Simchas Torah, to have that embrace, to give us true joy of knowing that those who were in the dark tunnels of Gaza for 2 years will be able to be home and hopefully slowly recover with the embrace and the love of the entire Israel and the entire Am Yisrael. Yesterday, I went to a viewing of the Nova exhibit invited by my dear friends Dan and Wendy Kraft, who hosted it. And one of the survivors of the Nova exhibit who spoke of the Nova Festival was a girl, Mai. And she said the most moving story. And she says how she was running in a Jeep. Someone was driving her. And then they shot at the Jeep. And the Jeep stopped and she had to run out, surrounded in the open field, nowhere to hide. Finally, she found, together with one guy, they ran into a little ditch and they covered themselves. But within half an hour, there was 8 terrorists hovering over them and they pulled them out. They stabbed her friend in front of her and killed him. And then they were coming to her and they looked at her ready to rape her, heaven forbid. But she said something very powerful. When she was a little child, 2 years old, she got terribly burnt. She had tremendous scars on her body. And a year ago, she decided to get tattoos over there. And when the terrorists came and tried to touch her, and they saw the tattoos and the scar, they asked if she's a Bedouin. She didn't understand, but suddenly they left go of her, and they didn't want to touch her. And the lead guy, the lead terrorist, told them not to touch her. And later on, when their truck broke, he allowed her to escape. But she found out later, she said, that in the Bedouin and the Muslim tradition, someone who has scars is meant to be someone who suffered abuse. And if they have to choose, it shows strength. And that for Muslims, if they touch such a woman, they will lose their supposedly 72 virgins when they come to heaven, which of course they're not going to. But that's why this guy decided to leave go of her. And she said, I always wondered, why did God give me these scars? Why did God give me the suffering that I had? She said, little did I know that these scars saved my life. My friends, we're living in crazy times, but we have to have faith ultimately in Almighty God, that in the embrace of the Sukkah, in the love of His embrace, God will protect the Jewish people against anti-Semitism, against hate, against our terrorists, and we will celebrate the unity and the love together. This Simchas Torah, God willing, will be the most epic ever. 20 hostages will come home just in time, and together we will be besimcha, with joy, the joy that comes from the joy of others, united in an embrace of the Sukkah. Chag Sameach, and if you're able to, of course, join us tonight to celebrate. Join us on Simchas Torah to celebrate. Sunday morning we have an event for children, and we will continue and we will dance in the streets, God willing, on Tuesday night for Simchas Torah.